Here's lesson 5 of 45 lessons at me being 45 years young. Habits. Why is it so damn hard to break a bad habit? So this is less of a lesson and more of a training to help you get out of undesired patterns. An opportunity for me to share some neurological nuggets, if you will. Have you ever noticed how hard it is to change a habit, especially a bad habit? But before I go there, have you actually considered what a habit is? Habits are simply constructs of the mind. They're brain-based, they're automatic. Habits just happen, as if you're sleepwalking through behaviors or thoughts. They're really there for survival. And I'll get into that here, I'm sure. So go back to the challenges of changing a habit. What most people try to do when they're aware of the habit that they want to break is they use the left-hand side of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, to rationalize and analyze the habit. Let's take smoking. Someone will say, you know what? Smoking is a bad habit and I don't want to do it anymore. I've got kids or grandkids and I want to set a better example for them. They want to stop smoking, but smoking is a habit. Here's what most people don't get. They try to analyze and rationalize, which I said is prefrontal cortex, which is the thinking part of the brain, when the habit actually comes from the older part of the brain, the primal part of the brain called the reptilian part of the brain. So when a habit is desired to be changed, they're trying to think from one side of the brain when the habit comes from the other side of the brain, the autonomic part of the brain, which is the reptilian brain, fight or flight. So you've got two parts of the brain literally working against each other to change a habit. This is what I call a brain battle. A brain battle ensues. Now, I know you've been here before because at one point you've attempted to break a habit. We all have, but it's been really hard to break the habit, right? The reason why it's so damn hard to quit a bad habit is because of the reptilian brain. The way it operates is that every habit that we have is a survival mechanism. Smoking, nail biting, drinking 10 cans of soda a day, drinking alcohol, watching TV over completing tasks we know we should be completing, working out, eating healthy. Whatever habits we have, the reptilian part of the brain codes any habit that we have as a survival mechanism. And because it's a survival mechanism, your brain does not want to eliminate that habit. So even if you're a smoker, every day we can analytically think smoking's a really bad habit. However, the reptilian part of the brain, which maintains the habit, says, no way are we going to eliminate smoking because it's a survival mechanism. Now, when I say survival mechanism, let's be clear. Our brain does not know the difference between what is a great habit or what a poor habit is. It just knows it's a habit. Our brain's job is to keep us alive through whatever habits we've created. So when we logically try to use our analytical brain to change a habit, we may say something like, well, I'm just going to use my willpower to fight through the habit. Let me tell you something. That is not going to work. And again, I don't need to tell you this. Willpower is a fixed and finite resource. Willpower always starts the day off great. Our little companion to motivate ourselves to fight the urges. But it's like using your cell phone. You can have a charge at the beginning of the day and have a full battery on your phone. But the more you use it, the more it gets drained throughout the day. It's the same thing with willpower. The more that you use, the more you deplete. The more you deplete, the less you have. The less you have, the less you're able to use to facilitate behavioral change. And sure enough, you resort to reactions through your emotions at the end of the day. Then you just get into doing the habit anyway, which again, if you're paying any attention, is primal. It's reptilian brain. This is merely the habit voice coaxing you into doing it anyway. The prefrontal cortex is going to say, no, 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 we're not going to do that habit. But this is where the brain battle occurs. What happens is, part of your brain says, do it, don't do it, do it, don't do it, do it, don't do it, like a ping pong match. Bong, 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 bong. It's a brain battle in your head. And then what normally happens? Think about it. Yep, the reptilian brain most always wins. Why? Because the emotional part of the brain, the mammalian brain, gets involved. And this is also housed in the right side of the brain. And as we've all experienced up to this point, emotions always win over analytical thought. So what we do is we fall back into the old habit. Then what I call the habit brain or habit talk pops up and says, see? I knew you couldn't do it. You know you wanted to do that habit. And the cycle starts all over again. And that's why people stay trapped. Should I go over a real lesson as to how to break any bad habit? It's a quick and easy sequence. All right, let's do it. In the next lesson, everything starts from the inside. Hence, transform your life from the inside out.